Welcome back to the Big Trail Show. We have a very special guest. I'm super excited joining us. It's the Las Vegas Aces general manager, Dan Padover. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today.
Happy to be on.
Now, obviously, we just got done last week with the WNBA draft. I just want to start overall because obviously you guys drafted an Arkansas Razorback, and we'll get to that in a second. But you take Ileana Rupert with your first round pick. Destiny Slocum from Arkansas, your second pick overall, 14. And then Keona Jeter with the final pick in the draft, 36. How do you evaluate how your team did on draft night?
All you can evaluate is based on what you wanted. Our top two were, hey, let's hope we can get Ileana at 12, and let's hope we can get Destiny at 14. And then at 36, it becomes, the best player available. And Kiana had a great time at Towson, top 10 leading scorer in the nation. So we were thrilled with Ileana. We're thrilled with Destiny. And it worked out just how we had hoped. So we were very excited when the draft concluded.
And then that kind of leads into one of my next questions is your thoughts on Destiny beforehand. You said those were your top two players and you got them. What about Destiny did you like before draft night that when you said our second round pick, we really want her to join our team?
You know, Destiny's had an interesting career, as you know. I saw her play against UConn her freshman year when she was at Maryland. It was, almost 5 years ago, and at that point, I thought she could potentially be a lottery pick. Then from there, she heads to Oregon State, and then finally, lands at Arkansas. And her ability to be a playmaker on the basketball floor is, really, really special. Great in the pick and roll, good court vision. She's a perimeter threat. Her physicality is going to really have to, translate to the WNBA. She's playing against college players now. She's playing against professional women in the, pros who have been at it for 10, 15 years. So she's going to have an adjustment. But at 14, you're looking for someone who has something that you think can stick. And Destiny's just all around game. We're hoping will translate to our league.
Almost kind of full circle, right? You saw her play at UConn in her freshman year. Of course, Arkansas beating UConn in her senior year. Um, and you said you thought she was a lottery pick then. Then do you feel like in that growth in 4 years, you kind of got a steal at 14?
It's funny. She's had a roller coaster of a college career, and she'd be the first to tell you that. So I think, given her kind of, going to a few different schools, I think she may have been a little bit undervalued. Sometimes people look at that and have a little bit of concern, but we did our homework on her. We met with her extensively beforehand. We really quizzed people about her. And, again, at 14, you're looking for some type of diamond in the rough that can make their way into the pros. It's not like you got the number one overall pick. And she just has something to her game that we're hoping will translate.
Of course, Destiny Slocum going to the Las Vegas Aces, the 14th overall pick, second round of WNBA draft, second team All SEC player, 15 points per game, can shoot the lights out from three. She was 40% from the field. Now, you said you spoke to her before the draft. What were those conversations like when you got to talk to her for the first time?
Very mature kid. She was very honest. Nothing was rehearsed. She was just being herself. And I think we appreciated that.
It's
We have a terrific team. We plan to compete for a championship. So we don't want any bad apples around. And we had all the confidence in the world that her character and her ability to be a teammate would translate well on this team, even if she doesn't play. So that was encouraging. Hearing from her own, words, what she went through during college, where she's at today as a person. You go to three different schools during a college career. A lot of people have a lot of questions. So we did our homework and we got answers from other people, but we wanted to hear it from her. And to her credit, she's very genuine, very authentic, and she's in a really good place. So it was great to talk to her. We talk about basketball a little bit, talk about who she compares her game to, things she has to work on. But most of all, you're just trying to get a feel for the individual. And it was a really good conversation.
and you kind of touched on it at the very beginning, but stylistically, what do you really like from her on the floor that you want to translate into your organization as she makes that jump to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing we need is basketball players and players who can see the floor. Destiny can see the floor. She can spread the floor, which is really key when you have post players like we have with Asia Wilson, Liz Cambage, Dearica Hamby, etc. And she, like you said, shoots over for 40% from three in her college career, hoping that that can continue. And it also gives us another ball handler, which you can never have too many of. So there's a lot of pieces to her game in the backcourt that we appreciate. Now it's about her developing under our system and being ready when her number's called, because as I mentioned earlier, we have a terrific team. So we're not going to rely on her too much right now. Now it's about her developing, fitting into our team, and helping out wherever she can.
A team that made a championship appearance in the 20 WNBA finals. Training camp, though, like you said, you haven't really had a breather from draft night to now. Training camp starts April 25th, Sunday. What are you hoping to see from Destiny when she gets on the floor? I know you said she's already getting to do individual workouts. What are you really hoping to see when you get to finally get her in person?
I hope she's just herself, to be perfectly honest with you. You're going from one end of the spectrum to now the low end of the totem pole with, being around a bunch of professional athletes who, some of which have, extensive experience. So basketball is basketball. She should just go play her game. Yeah, you have to kowtow to the veterans in some respect, but just be yourself. And I really want to see what it looks like against WNBA talent versus college talent.
And I think last thing, just in regards to Arkansas, you said you watched a little bit of, you watched their runs, especially through the season, how impressive it was in the SEC. What did you love watching about them?
I mean, what everybody likes, right? The pace. People love offense, so it's always entertaining. It's never going to be a slow game because once they get it, they go. You always can count on that with them. So SEC is just a great conference. Love seeing a lot of those talented players go against each other. So it was a really good season overall.
This is the Las Vegas Aces general manager Dan Padover talking Destiny Slocum. Of course, the Aces selecting Slocum with the 14th overall pick in the 2021 WNBA draft. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you.